Hey guys and girls, Siam here. So I've been meaning to make a Bitcoin slash cryptocurrency video for a while now, but it's been just absolutely manic. So I'm combining this with a dog walk and baby walk and stuff. So I'm just going to get some thoughts out there really. Basically, I'm quite interested in cryptos at the moment, mainly because it's a brand new major asset class. I mean, the last time a brand new major asset class entered the market was 1694, when the UK government issued the first government bond, so to speak. And then if you look at what happened there, that was pretty big. And for a long time, I've been really skeptical over cryptos. I really have. It took me. I was, to be honest, not a hater, but I was a non-believer when it came to cryptos. Whenever someone asked about Bitcoin, I was basically, well, because people say, reference Bitcoin to being digital gold, etc. And I thought, no, it's absolute poppycock because it's just a fiat currency. There's nothing backing it up. There's no, it's just another fiat currency, and all it backs up. Cryptos is basically the algorithms and blockchain within it, etc. I mean, at the end of the day, it's people's perceptions and opinions of things and confidence which give things value. Like, the only reason the pound has any value is because people believe the UK government when it says a pound is worth a pound. Now, so I'm going to be pretty honest here. In fact, there's not a time where I'm not honest, but I've been a bit reluctant to share what I have been doing, or what I'm about to do with cryptos, because what I am personally doing is something which I definitely 100% recommend you guys do not do. So, the best advice I would do, I would suggest, is to invest in cryptos, but seriously only just play with your like your risk capital. Literally nothing. Like, if you were to lose every single penny, it shouldn't affect you at all. So I would have, the most riskiest capital out there, and for a long time I've been saying, it's worth investing in Bitcoin, I mean in cryptocurrencies, because it is a punt, and basically anything that goes up 35,000% in 4 or 5 years is a bubble, and I am expecting a bit of a pullback with the cryptos. However, despite all of that, I think we are at the beginning of probably one of the biggest tulip-like bubbles slash rallies I think history's ever seen, really. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's something like $100 into Bitcoin in 2010 is worth like $17 million right now, or something ridiculous like that. So what I would do, like with anything, I would do a skill acquisition. I would basically swap an hour of TV a day for the next however long it takes, and just spend an hour a day learning about cryptos, blockchain, or all of that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I can't help you in terms of learning all of this stuff. I mean, I know a lot now. I've spent the last 6 months. I've spent at least an hour a day for the last 6 months learning about this stuff, because it is a bit of a rabbit hole, and I'm not tech savvy at all. And when it comes to like blockchains and SegWits and all that sort of hash rates, and goes over my head. So yeah, I would spend an hour a day just reading and watching YouTube videos, just so you can get your head around it. Now, here is the approach that I'm taking. Right now, there's about 1,000 different cryptocurrencies, and 99% of them are bullshit. They really are. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, there's one called Pepe Coin, which is basically a crypto coin based on a cartoon. There's one called Dogecoin or Dogecoin, and that's basically a coin with a Shiba Inu on it. Like so many of them are just massive bullshit hypes. So yeah, 99% of them are bollocks. Now, trying to pick a winner in the wild west like this is going to be hard. It really is. And it is the wild west. There's massive pump and dumps. There's lots of hacking going on in the exchanges. It is, yeah, the wild west is the best way to explain it. And be prepared to lose everything you put into it. Having said that, I do believe we are on the cusp of a new form of money. I really think we are. It's taken me bloody 4 or 5 years to get my head around cryptos, and now I'm basically all in. Oh, not all. I want to be all in. So I'm treating this like a VC. So VCs will invest in crap loads of companies, sometimes 300 odd companies, and then hope that one of them is the next Google, Uber, blah. And that's what I'm doing. So if you go to a website called CoinGecko.com, what it will show you is basically the top 100 cryptos out there in accordance with popularity, search term ratings, public interest, how much of a development team is behind it, blah, blah, blah. And it will rank them. So what I've done is I've basically I've spread a bunch of money across the top 30 cryptos on that list, and I'm just basically playing a numbers game. So I don't know which one's gonna be, the next Bitcoin, etc. I'm pretty damn positive Ethereum is gonna be freaking huge. Like, Ethereum is absolutely nuts. So and it shot up massively. I mean, January when I was looking at it, it was $10 an Ether. So Ethereum is the engine, the platform, and Ether is the sort of the currency. It was $10 when I started looking at it, and it's now $230, and that's since January, which is absolutely nuts. So yeah, and also another thing is, when looking at the numbers, if you do sort of a Google search term just to see what, the popularity of cryptos, etc., it's nuts. 1 in 500 people have a crypto account. 1 in 500 people, and and the market's gone batshit crazy with just 1 in 500 people. So when this goes mainstream, and by the way, this is nowhere near mainstream. If you remember the standard bubble wave, we are simply going from the stealth phase to the awareness phase. That's it. We're nowhere near the mania phase. When it gets to 1 in 20 people having a crypto account, that's when things are going to go sky high. So if things can go 35,000% in the first 5 years, with basically no one in the market, I mean, it's crazy. Like, at the moment, crypto volume is about 0.4% of the FX market. So as you can see, it's a tiny minnow. So I personally believe this is the greater fool. It is the greater fool's game. And guess what? The greater fool are the public. So when the public come rushing in, that's when to effectively get out. And now that Bitcoin's gone from like bugger all to $2,300 an ounce, well, sorry, a Bitcoin, not an ounce, like, that's starting to get a bit of traction. And a good indicator I've been looking at is Google search terms. So if you have a look at people typing in how to invest in Bitcoin, blah blah blah, like, they're exploding. They really are. And it just fascinates me that we have this growth, seeing as though only 1 in 500 people have an actual account. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. What was I going to say? So it took me a while to get my head around how it all works, because you have, things like, you have the blockchain, you have tokens, coins, blah blah blah, and I didn't quite get it. However, when you put it into basic stuff, like I tried to do, it makes a little bit more sense. So when you have a company, let's take Apple. Apple is a company. Apple does shit. It sells stuff. Blah blah blah. So it's producing some sort of stuff, right? Now, Apple has a thing called a ticker, and I think it's APPL. So when you invest in Apple, basically on the stock market, you invest in their ticker. If it's Vodafone, it would be VOD, blah blah blah. So you have a company, and then you have the stock which you can buy. So in crypto cases, for example, Ether is effectively the company, the engine, so to speak. Sorry, Ethereum is Ethereum is the company, the platform, etc. And Ether is effectively the token of the Ethereum platform. It's the same with, you know, yeah, some other companies out there. So, and what I'm doing is, there's two things when it comes to sort of investing in these two things. So one of them is I prefer to back cryptos with a real world utility. So something which is not bullshit like a Pepe coin, or I mean there's a few other silly coins out there, but something which there's a meaning thing behind them. So for example, there's a cryptocurrency exchange called Golem. Now Golem basically is an outsourced supercomputer. So basically, if you go to bed at night, you can leave your computer open, and what will happen is that the Golem blockchain, etc., will basically tap into that unused RAM, and so what happened, yeah, and you can do that all over the world. So what if there's a scientist that has like an algorithm or some research and needs a lot of data crunching, he can go into the Golem Network and basically use computers all over the globe to basically try and solve this algorithm or whatever it may be. So that has a real world utility. So basically in the future, everyday Joe Public, well, you and I, could have access to a supercomputer through something like that. So Golem is one of those things. I mean, there's Storage and Made Safe. So Storage is basically the same sort of outsourced computer thing, but for data. So you can effectively source your data, sort of store it safely, securely, blah blah blah. So they're those. So I like backing them. So as I said, I've got like a lot. And there's one other thing. When the public come rushing in, they're going to be looking at all the big ones like Litecoin, Ether, Bitcoin. And when they do come rushing in, it's going to have, I mean, things would have taken off quite a bit. And what the average Joe does when they have, say, £1,000 or £1,000 or £5,000 in an account, is people naturally migrate to the cheap ones, so like the penny stocks, etc. And they'll see things like Dogecoin, where it's still it's less than a cent. It's 0.0025 cents. So you can put like $200 into Doge and get like several 100,000 Dogecoins, etc. And so there will be a lot of people with the sort of mentality, oh cool, all this needs to do is go to $1 and I'm sorted. And there's still loads out there. And the thing is, I think now really is the time to get in, because I'm basically going to be playing this game. So I've already got my positions on all of the cheap ones, so all of the good cheap ones, so the ones with a real world utility, but they're still sort of like in the pennies. And yeah, I really think it's the way forward. Now, even if you don't have the money to invest in cryptos right now, I would start opening up an account, because it takes a freaking ball ache amount of time to set up an account, give your bloody inside leg measurements, get it all verified. It took me 2 weeks to basically get a whole wad of money into my account. So I would basically start learning, get used to it, and a top tip, a lot of exchanges out there are quite risky to keep your money in. So for example, we use FXCM. FXCM is effectively our broker, and so the only way you can buy these things is basically getting an exchange, i.e. broker. So I use Kraken, Bitrex and Poloniex. So they're three effectively brokers that I have. And if you're going to get hacked, it's those exchanges where you're going to get hacked. So what I would do is get all clued up, open up an account, buy, I don't know, one Dogecoin, which will cost you less than a penny, or no, I'd buy a few more, and get used to getting them on the exchange and then transferring them from your exchange to a private wallet. So that's and a crypto wallet is effectively like a bank account. So you need to get it out of the exchange into your own crypto bank account, so to speak, and that's when you can secure it. Again, use YouTube. It is a bit complex, but I hope this is some sort of help. As I said, only put risk money into this. For me, this is another equity market hedge. Unfortunately, for those of you who've been around, my leap options, I'm about $30,000 down on my leap options, which isn't ideal. Yeah, I think cryptos are a good hedge, because when the financial markets crash, there will be a big flocking into cryptos. So yeah, even though I'm saying put risk money in, I'm personally not. I'm not putting risk money into this. I've put a lot more. So I wouldn't recommend what I'm doing. God, the weather's beautiful today. So cool. I hope. Oh, by the way, here's the reason why I'm being slightly more risky, as so to speak, and that's because it goes back to one of my sort of overall investment type things. I have a barbell approach, so I have long-term, really. Hey, honey. Sorry, is Ellie putting a hat on Koa? He needs a tan, honey. Honestly. What was I saying? Yeah, I have a barbell thing. So I have long-term, really boring stuff, which is there for my pension, like my DIY trading account, DIY pension account, so to speak. And then I have short-term, extremely high-risk stuff, but extremely high yield or rewarding. And the reason being is I'm like a lot of my. Yeah, so I'm gonna dump about 100 grand into cryptos, and the reason being is if this kicks off, like if I am correct, that 100k could turn into something stupid like 10 mil plus. Okay, so for the risk to reward, the triple R on this effective trade is good. I mean, yeah, and what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna trade it. Do not trade cryptos. This is a simple buy and hold. That's all it is. Buy, hold, and forget, and come back in 3 years' time and see what the hell's happened. I mean, hell, already I'm up sort of 39% across the whole crypto stuff. So, yeah, what you could do is wait till you're 100% off, take your seed out, and then just leave the rest and see what happens. So that's that. So the upside is awesome. Upside is unlimited. Downside is limited. I can lose 100 grand. That's it. And the reason why I'm prepared to do that is because I have the ability. So losing 100 grand, yeah, it'll sting, but it's not going to hurt. So it'll push me back 6 months, 6 to 12 months, basically. And for me, I don't mind that. I mean, it's only money. And I can afford to be effectively pushed back in terms of net worth by 6 to 12 months. So if you're not in the position, like, and it really helps that I have a business or a few businesses, because the cash flow from that will massively help. If you're not in that sort of position, don't do this. Literally, just put 500 quid in or whatever you can spare to, you know, basically fire and forget. Now, wow, 20 minutes. This has gone on way longer than I thought. Hope this helps, and I will see you soon. Toodles. Bye bye.